Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a continuation basically of my last video, which was essentially centered around the cost of living. I was watching, again, shout out to Wax Unfiltered, if I'm not mistaken. And I just wanted to continue this series basically because I'm starting to realize that personal finance is something that is, I guess, is something that not everybody is confident basically with. It's almost like a superpower, I guess, when you start seeing the development of people's personal finance journeys, personal finance experiences, and their habits basically. So let's just watch this. Hopefully this doesn't get, and hopefully CTAM don't this doesn't strike the video, and it's still watchable. But okay, let's just go with this anyway. Let's play this and see what they say.
If you could change any of your saving or spending habits from about 5-10 years ago, what would you do differently?
That's easy. I'd probably start on the pension earlier because I started later. But then at that age, you've got rents and mortgages to pay, still do. But so right to be debate between homelessness and being pensionable.
Save, and don't dip into savings for shopping. Because if I look at my wardrobe now, those tops weren't worth it.
Yeah, just save while your outgoings aren't too much and just keep putting it away, and then it will help you out in the future.
I think in one of those accounts that you can't access, because mine was always
like
one I would then think at the end of the month, I would justify myself to buy whatever. But if I can't access it, you're not going to spend it. So might do that now.
I think people are smarter with money now than maybe.
Oh, my bad.
This boy's reaction when his mom recognized him with her eyes blindfolded during the Mother's Day activity at school is absolutely priceless.
Let's just reload that and try that again. That was annoying. It does, it's just...
This boy's reaction when his mom recognized him with her eyes blindfolded.
This is great. You know those videos can be very, very annoying because it's like people just... And a lot of people use it and switch the narrative. So pretty much no context. It's just wow.
If you could change any of your saving or spending habits from about 5-10 years ago, what would you do differently?
That's easy. I'd probably start on the pension earlier because I started later. But then at that age, you've got rents and mortgages to pay, still do. But so right to be...
I don't really think that's great. It's not bad advice, but let's just
New generation, they're just more... They are more clued up on investing and not just spending it.
If you could
yes and no. Okay, so I guess I just wanted to use that as a template, right, to essentially carry on from, right, or piggyback off. So this video, guys, right now is essentially to talk about personal finance, right, of people. Let's just say Londoners specifically, right now. But also me trying to give some of my personal finance journey to you, so you can take that and I guess run with it how you so see fit. So let me just pull up. I'm looking up every time you see me look down, guys. Let me just using my iPad basically to as my second screen. So personal finance. I just quickly typed up, personal finance. What did I type up? Things to touch on about personal finance, basically, right? So it can give me at least some sort of structure, unlike the last video. My bad. So the thing, it focuses here on the 5 key elements are income, right? Which is pretty much what you guys were talking about in the video. Spending, savings. Oh my God, sorry, it was 6. Income, spending, savings, investing, and protection. So I was completely correct. I don't know, it looks like as if it was 6 anyway, but it was 5 anyway. So yeah. So income, right? This really depends on, so this is, I would never say I'm giving advice because this is not what this is. I first want to let you know, guys, that I'm doing this from a point of view, from the perspective of being told from various people, or also asking me to an extent how I am so disciplined when it comes to, you know, personal finance / money management. How do I do it? And it's you start realizing to yourself that when you look at society like holistically and find out that many people are not confident with their attitudes towards savings, money management, or what to do with money, you know, investing, the whole thing under the umbrella of personal finance, right? But when people are not confident at this, you start realizing yourself, this is something that I was saying in my last video, needs to be taught in schools. And it needs to be taught in schools because this is a subject that we're all going to come across. Every single one of us. There might be things that we may not come across coming out from school, right, and going into the real world. You know, relationships is, like I mentioned before, is not something that everybody will have. You know, romantic relationships, not something everybody will have. So they may not, you know, necessarily get to experience that in the outside world. Other stuff, you know, that some people may not believe in certain stuff, basically, right? So they might not be religious. So these stuff you might not, again, have to experience in the outside world. But one thing you will have to experience is personal finance / money and finance. Personal finance / money management. So there are, let me just switch this in case. Okay, let me just leave it on there. But this, you can ignore this for now, guys. It's just I'm actually using, I just realized I'm not actually using the right screen. But aren't I able to, sorry, give me a second, guys. I swear I'm able to, yeah, I can. Let me stop this and use another. I would have liked it to be the whole window. You can do windows, right? I'm just trying to oh, it's a window, my bad. It was my bad. All right, so let's just use that one. So touching up on income, guys. Income, what I'll say about income, guys, is, so to read it out quickly, it says, understanding your income sources, such as salaries, wages, dividends, and other cash inflows is crucial for budgeting and financial planning. Now, this is going to be tiered in ages, right? So for people that I guess I don't think people under 18 are going to be, you know, tuning into my channel, basically. But if for those that are tuning into this channel right now, what I can mention basically is, when you're trying to, I guess, get access to money, the most probable way to do so is through your parents, right? So your parents are going to be the one to basically be giving you pocket money and so forth. And this is where you're going to want to, again, it's not advice, guys, but if you're of that age range, you know, 18 and 17 and under, you're going to want to be using your pocket money as a tool to get ready for your personal finance journey. And I say this from experience, from someone that has been saving pocket money since 11, getting pocket money from school, and essentially not spending. Now, this is not me just having a eureka moment and thinking to myself, let me start doing this at the tender age of 11. This was my brother doing it at 11 in year 7, right? And then me being in my last, was it year 11? Me being in year 6, sorry. And then my brother is essentially informing that me that we should basically look into this. We should basically start looking into saving our pocket money. This is how it grew. Now I can go even, you know, like more deeper into this, but I'm going to keep it simple and just say that this is where my I guess efficiency when it comes to money management, that's where it started. Right now, so I just had a brain freeze for a second. My bad, guys. So here's where essentially kind of it all started. you're gonna want to start young. I'm not saying that it has to be right, because some people are going to start late. But what you start learning is that there are certain habits you can't break, right? So good habits are very hard to develop. You've heard this before. Bad habits are very, very easy to develop, right? But and they're very hard to break. Whereas good habits are very easy to stop doing. The good habits, you have to continuously do these things in order for it to really become cemented. This is now I realize this is why the way I am, and I have to thank my brother, because it's just kind of just been ingrained in me. It's just part of my essence. Like I just cannot I can't sleep well, I can't think straight, whatever, if I know that I don't have a good financial buttress, some support entourage. Like I want to feel as though when I'm out there in the world walking and so forth, I have a financial entourage around me, just like, yeah, I feel good financially. I don't really have worries. This is how I approach a lot of my, I guess, just day-to-day living. I want to be able to know that, yeah, this is money. If there's an emergency, I can basically sort out anything, within a split second, not having to think and be like, oh, do I have enough? It's just literally, yep, I can dip into my savings. That's something that the young lady mentioned basically in the video, which is the where you're able to stash money away and you cannot really access it. That helps a lot. You'll find that many people, the reason why they spend a lot is because it's there and then they don't have anything to do with it, with that money. So here's where you want to take certain stuff, certain ideas on board when it comes to making sure that you're putting your money away and you're not really having access to it, which is that will teach you discipline. But again, the income stuff. So if you're under 17 and so forth, try to find ways for you to make money, mainly probably from parents or family members, whatever, doing certain, I don't know, chores in your area. Maybe, I don't know what you can pick up. Mowing lawns, I don't know. But really, I don't know what you can do. What I can tell you, if I was to, again, use the experience, basically what I've done, being young, there's times where you will be this is like, I don't know, 12 years old, going to 11, actually, in fact, 11, 12, being in like arcade venues, right, where there are games being, this is not something that you guys will know now, but for those that of a certain, generation, you can actually go to arcade venues where they play all these games, you can play, even, I mean, I guess they still have it, but it's not necessarily, I guess if they were to have arcade venues now, they would have to contain stuff like, I don't know, the actual, PS, whatever, like PS games, Nintendo, whatever, is nowadays, the Xboxes, whatever. They'll have to actually contain them because kids have them at the house. So what's the need for them? So we'll go to these places and we'll just try to find, like, this is real talk, trying to find money, because a lot of money gets dropped, pounds, coins, and so forth, getting dropped, and you can find them under machines and so forth. The actual games, so your money's being found under the game. Let's say it's a punching game, you find money under there, right? But because we were young and getting caught wasn't a thing, we were just like, yeah, we're looking for money, Whereas you get to a certain age, you probably only, by the time I was 14, kind of really stops doing that. But these are, I'm just trying to give you ways where there's no way not to try to make money. That's what I'm trying to tell you. No way. If you're just naturally like this, you're gonna want to basically get money. And then once you get the money, you need to be very smart with the money. Like I said, me and my brother was saving it. So my brother was someone that once he got into year 7, and he told me his plan. He was saving, I think he was getting like £1.10, right, from our parents he will save that. And then he told me once I get to year 7, I need to start doing the same thing. When he moved to year 8, he started getting, I think, £1.20. I started getting £1.10. We saved that up, and then we started doing a whole lot of stuff. Like, we were able to buy, even before I got into year 7, we were able to buy a Sega Mega Drive. For those that know, I'm sure my age, but for those that know, yeah, we put the money down. This was between us and another group of young kids, basically, that we went to school with. Bought a Sega Mega Drive with our own money. So this was cluing me up, right, on essentially money and having to, how you earn stuff in this world, right? So and this is what I'm saying. This is a process. It's not gonna, if you can get it young, it's amazing when you can learn this type of stuff, disciplines young, because it's gonna carry on through, like, for your life. So again, you know, those, if you're young and you're watching this, please, this is a great, again, not advice, but please think about these things, consider them, consider these, you know, the stuff I'm saying. You have to try to find ways to get money, and no money is too small. You know, I'll be in secondary school and I found like-minded people. I kid you not, I found like-minded people. We will just be picking up, we'll be on lunch breaks and whatever, picking up money, just picking up, whether it be, obviously we're looking more for like the silver, but that's like the silver coins, you know, 5p's and whatever. But you know, if you don't, you have to pick up what you can. So although I was saving money, I was saving my lunch money with my brother. I was also with these two guys. Shout out to you guys. You know, we were 11 at the time. We basically go around the play, you know, go around school. You know, it was a large big school. Go around and just pick up money. You know, make sure that, okay, cool. Because anytime it's pennies now, you want to, so 2 people stand in front of it to block other people's view, and then someone just, you know, just style it out, pick it up, act like we, I don't know, act like we dropped something, and then picked up the penny, and then we just, from then we just do that for the whole week, and then we just share amongst ourselves. So that's something else I was doing alongside making money. My brother, which he started. What I call it? It was basically he got a diary from school, right? He then turned it into a ledger, pretty much. At the time we called it Hyper Investments. I don't mind delving into this stuff in another video. I'll see how these type of, how popular, if these things catch on, you know, people wanted to, you know, just find out about other people's personal finances. There's people you're going to want to find out. Guys, look around on the internet. This is the great thing about the internet. It's a great tool where you can find out information about things like this. There's many people you can learn personal finance from. I'm just talking about it because I believe there are people like myself that maybe can relate to me. That'll be like, oh snap, somebody like me that I can relate to is talking about personal finance and so forth. I wonder how this person approaches personal finance. That's why I'm giving you the information I'm giving you. So, you know, as much as so my brother literally started our own bank / investment company, but he called it Hyper Investments. That's where it all started for us. Then we'll like keep it under, we'll like take like a drawer in our room. We'll like take the bottom drawer all the way out and then put the ledger, which is just essentially a diary, put it under, and then close that, so it's not reachable. So when you open up, you know, the bottom drawer, you don't see anything. I mean, you just see normal stuff there, but you don't see the actual, you know, the diary basically. That's how we're trying to keep it away from our parents, so they don't find out how much we've, you know, saved up and how much money we have to ourselves. That's like these kind of things what set you up. It literally sets you up for life. Since then, I've been using, you know, Google Sheets to document my incoming and outgoings. And that's one thing you want to do when we're looking at this stuff here. It says incoming is the first one, and the spending spending. It says tracking and managing your expenses is vital to ensure that your spending does not exceed your income. This includes necessities like rent, if you're paying rent, groceries and utilities, as well as discretionary spending on hobbies and entertainment. So with those two, I will say what you want to do, right, for your personal finance is to really become good at it. You have to apply this. You have to add this to a spreadsheet and start documenting this stuff. You know, there's people that, and I'm saying this stuff, guys, because it's very important that you start when you can. Age, although it shouldn't matter, does matter. I'm saying this because I have a friend of mine who, you know, she's a grown person. advise, please, I would like to help you with your person. I mean, the person kind of mentioned it to me anyway. They were like, yeah, I know you're kind of basically you're good with like this type of stuff. Like, help me. I'm like, fantastic, no problem. First thing I'm gonna need you to do, you need to put together, put all your incoming and outgoings. You need to put together in a sheet so I know what your situation is, what your financial situation is, like how much money do you get from work and so forth, and how much you spending on, how much is going out. So are you going out with friends or going holidays? Guy, person likes to take like to take holidays. All these things are going to allow me to know what you need to cut off, things that you could keep and so forth, and then essentially structure your own personal financial situation in a way where you're now able to save a certain amount and then put that away, whether it be saving or investing, whatever you want to do, basically. So yeah, I think when I look back now, the person that he didn't do it because it's not ingrained in him. He said, yeah, I'll do it. I'll tell him, listen, I don't mind sitting with you and we can start documenting. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But what I start learning is it becomes a habit, right? Bad habits, him not doing it became a habit. So it was very hard for him at this stage now to turn and start doing that when it's kind of new. It's very daunting. It can in some cases expose basically him, not just to me in terms of what he's doing, where he's wasting money, but more so to himself, or expose himself to himself. And it like shines a light, it like takes a mirror and like puts it back on you, reflects it back on you, for you to see your flaws and to see how because everyone says this, I want to, I'm confident, I'm this, I'm able, I'm capable, whatever. But when you look in that mirror and you really talk to yourself, don't say it to me, say it to yourself. Are you actually good at what you say you are? You've mentioned these things. Are you good at what you say you are? Look in the mirror and say it. So that's what happens when you put a spreadsheet together and you start adding all these little things that you don't take into consideration. You just see as, yeah, I'll just do it anyway. No, that thing you're doing is costing a certain amount. When you add that up, right, in accumulation, by the end of the month, that's money you could have saved up. That could have gone to something useful. So all these things is vital, right? And it all comes from like being consistently disciplined. Try to learn to not spend money, like that lady said, not spending money. Like many people don't. By the time I got my first job at 18. My brother, this guy's just an absolute, I can't applaud him enough, man. He mentioned to me how he was doing something. He was like, oh yeah, bro, I can see you're also good with money, whatever because now we're 18 now, from us being together and working and all this. Not working, but going to school and saving money and save as much as we did. This was in 100 we had saved, guys. So there was a lot of times where our parents have to ask, they're like, why is this guy's he's got new trainers, of like new gear, who's getting you this stuff? And then we had to kind of let them know we save money. They were like, yeah, we know you're saving, but how much are you saving of it? They didn't know we were saving the whole thing. They didn't know that we weren't spending, like we were going to school. They're just giving us pocket money basically, but obviously you get, I think it was free lunches to an extent, whatever. But all these things basically just realize how we can acquire money and then have money to spend, for ourselves, on ourselves. This is something that they were just thinking, these guys are quite disciplined. So by the time I got my first job, basically at 18, my brother, I remember I mentioned, I'm skipping here, guys. I've like missed, parts of like where you're going to college as well. You're earning a certain amount of money. They're not even earning a certain amount of money. Many children won't know there's stuff that people of a certain generation were getting, stuff like EMA. I forgot what it stood for basically, but essentially it just benefits for kids. If you're from a certain demographic and you don't have, your parents don't have certain income, whatever, you get a certain amount, right? So that could vary from 10 to, if I'm not mistaken, is it 40? I don't even know basically, but this is every week you're getting this. So I remember me just putting it off EMA. You know, this was I was like 16, guys. So I'm putting it off, not really caring. I'm like, I have money. There's nothing. I'm not desperate. You know, I had money. I still had money. But once the first, because it was delayed by 7 months, once that first one landed, I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm going to school thinking this is great. You know, I like going to, you know, I want to go to college. At the same time, I'm gonna get paid for it as well. This is stuff that, if you mistake it, I'm not sure. I don't think they do this nowadays. Please correct me if you're, you know, any young people. Correct me and let me know if this is correct. I don't think that you're being given money to go to school, to go to college, are you? Maybe you are, but then you go to university, you know, then you get more like benefits like grants, and depending on, again, on your income, household income and so forth, grants, maintenance loans, so forth. But by the time before I got to university and I was, you know, working basically, my brother mentioned something. He was like, you need to start putting your money away. So as soon as you get paid, it goes to like somewhere where it's just saved, and you won't be tempted to, you know, touch it, whatever. And he mentioned standing order. I'm like, what's a standing order? And that's pretty much, the standing order is pretty much money. You get money, hits your account, right? So as then you get paid, hits your account, automatically the money gets taken and puts into another account within your savings account, which it is a savings account, but you know, it's a savings section within your savings account. So that's what again, that young lady was, when she said what she said, that's what I took from that, which was, okay, standing order, put money away somewhere. You know, it would have been great to put it into something that maybe a financial vehicle that would have your money make money, more money. So have your money make more money. But I didn't know at the time. So, you know, I was 18 anyway. So long story short, these are like things that really helped my personal finance, my personal finance journey, me grow into actually knowing how to manage money, you know, knowing how to remain disciplined. So yeah, so this is, again, when it comes to income and spending, guys, this is what I'll tell you is, draw up put together a spreadsheet, right? And start detailing this stuff, so you know how much is going out and how much coming in and how much is going out. One thing you definitely going to want to do is use your family, specifically your parents, but other family members as you can, where possible. Use them as much as you can, because that they're the best. They're the best way to help you save as much money as possible. Like some people, you know, moving out very early when they don't need to. Could do what you want. I don't know if that's the best thing, but if there's not, yes, you're going to be annoyed. You're going to get annoyed. You might certain stuff you might not be able to do. But one thing you will learn is, when you get to a certain stage of your life, the only thing that's going to matter is the amount of money you have that you can fall back on. It just is what it is. This is what I'm saying. Personal finance has to be taught in schools. The next thing in this list is savings. It says setting aside a portion of your income for future use or emergencies is a critical component of personal finance. It's recommended to have an emergency fund covering 3 to 12 months of living expenses. So this is, I would say, I will say this is them assuming that the person is working and making a certain amount of money for them to be able to save that emergency fund. That's also a grabbing. This says savings. So once you make money, put into a savings account. Everyone has a bank account, right? Put into a savings account. Again, if you need to create a standing order to take out, let's say you get paid, I don't know, 1,005. Let's make it easy, simple. 1,005. Once you have 1,005, once you get paid, £200 gets taken out automatically. This is what I was doing. This is what enabled me to always have money. You know, I've done this for a long period of time. I was taking out way more than that, pretty much. I was getting paid a certain amount. I was getting paid to go to college at one point. Obviously, I went to university. I got paid there, but I was working all the way through from when I was 18 to I think 22, working, and just pretty much not saving everything, but saving a fair few. Quite a lot saved. So I'm going to move on for that because I think that one's very, very simple, right? Savings. Make sure you have a certain amount of money. If you're living with parents, this is stuff. Just stack up. Just stack up, because it's going to come a time where you're going to your mind is going to open. You're going to realize yourself, oh snap! I want to get into this. I want to get into that. There was a point in time when you didn't have to put much money down to look at maybe housing, so getting a mortgage or whatever. Right now, it's high. It's almost impossible for young people to get into the housing game. Damn near, like it's not. You're not gonna be able to do it. Sad, but you're not gonna be able to do it because the money that they're asking you to put down just doesn't make sense. So the next one on this list is investing, guys. I don't think I want to go this far because I think that when it comes to personal finance, I think although you can invest, I think many people need to learn just the basic three, which is income, spending, and saving. So whatever's coming in needs to be more than what's going out. Why? Because that's what's going to be the difference that you're going to pull out and then put into your savings. So that difference from income, and so you make £1,000 a month, your outgoing is 700. Let's say you want to use 150 if you're living with parents, 150, you don't have any bills, whatever, 150 to do stuff with. Because again, 1,000, let's say if you're living with parents, maybe 500, it's half. Go to whatever bills you have. You might have a car you got to pay every month, which might be more. But I'm just trying to make it simple. So might be a car, telephone bill, whatever. 500, and then you take the other 500. Maybe you take 250 from that, put it into standing order, so it automatically comes out from your current account, goes into your savings account, and it's just there. And then if you want to, I think there are instruments which allow you to. It needs to mature at a certain. There's a certain mature date. Let's say you do, I don't know, 2 years until you can access it. So they don't let you touch it. You have to set that up. Again, it's about discipline, setting that up and making sure that you don't have access to it. So when you do have access to it, it would have become a lump sum, right? So I'll say these are like the foundations, basically, of personal finance. I don't know how. Sometimes it's surprising to me that people have not learned this and maybe to an extent mastered this. But again, it's not easy when you don't when it's not been instilled in you from young. It's not easy to now try to jump on that as you mature and get older. But it's vital because right now, again, when you look at the cost of living, which is just absolutely skyrocketed, many people are complaining, and then others are looking at me thinking, how are you not complaining, or how are you surviving? And it's very simple. I just let them know the process I've put in place from when I was coming up as a youngster. They've really benefited. They stuck with me. It's not changed. Even now, I may not take money and put it into a saving as a direct debit, put into a savings account, but I'm putting into other stuff, basically, which is basically everyone needs to look into assets or something I would like to go into further down the line. But again, personal finance, just really, really focusing on everybody being able to get money and then spend as least as possible. I'm not going to stop somebody from looking, a young person and not think twice about driving. No, you can't. At your age, at that age, I was wanting to drive as well. First I got my license at 19. Started I think I got my first car at 19, 20, pretty much. But well, my license, well, I was learning since I was 17, I think. Was it, or 18, sorry. But anyway, I think literally got my license at 19 and then got my car at 19, pretty much 19, 20. So I'm not gonna stop anyone because it was a great feeling to be able to drive. You just felt like an adult. I was so excited. So, you know, it's good. What I will say is, if you're gonna do stuff like that, just get a banger. You know, I look back now and I wish I kept the banger that we destroyed that car though. Yeah, we were doing, it wasn't good, but I started driving at 7. Well, I was practicing at 17, if not 16 even, but that's because my dad had a banger car. It was, trust me, it was destroyed. I think his friend sold it to him, and he was like, okay, cool. He wanted us to learn early, and he just dropped, and then we just started just driving in our area. We didn't go on the street, too dangerous. So in our area, and it just destroyed that car, man. Man. So but these kind of things, you know, if I look back, I wouldn't have got the car I got. I had a quite, but it's, you know, at 20 I had a very good car, I will say. You know, it was a 2007. It was a 2007 Citroen. Yeah. So, but it wasn't. That's not the year I bought it. It wasn't. The year wasn't 2007. The car was basically, right. So but I had because it was a quality car. And yeah, people were like, oh snap, you know, how have you got that car? You know, with that plate and whatever. Or what people think. At the time, I just saw a car that was affordable. It was a car that was actually the person that had it only had one owner, and the person that was the owner was a disabled person, and they just didn't, you know, so they just didn't, I guess, want it. They were like, you know what, don't need it. So once I looked at him, I was snap. I was looking at the affordability. I'm like, why is it this much compared to the ones that were on offer? I'm like, why is it this much? So that's when I got it for the amount I did, basically. But I look back now, I probably should have got a car that was, yeah, definitely under like 3K. Because my car was way more expensive than that. To look at something under 3K, just a runaround. I look back, you know, but again, I didn't know what to do with money. And I think that's happening to many people, that when they have money, they don't know what to do with it. It usually goes to waste, especially when it's a young person. It goes to waste. And if I had somebody to really, like, you know, kind of knuckle me down and maybe push me towards the like investment side. My parents did try, but they were looking more towards housing, and you had to put money down for housing. That's the thing. Then it was a certain amount you had to put down. It wasn't as much as it is now, not far from it. But then you learn to yourself that, okay, I need to put this money down. And it didn't make sense at first, putting money down and just get a house. But you start learning that, okay, you need to continue paying for this house for a prolonged period of time. I already knew, I know right now that I put that money down at that age. I was young as hell, you know, 19 pretty much, and then trying to continue. Guys, it would have been a time I would have messed up. Let's just say 6 years in, could have messed up, and then they would have, all that equity I would have put into that endeavor would have gone to waste, because I would have lost the house and it would have taken it from me, and then they would have kept the money. And sometimes I feel like that's like this stuff like this makes you start thinking to yourself, you need to be very careful with it, because this is almost like it's like a trap that they will get you in. Where, how many people have done this? How many people have started a mortgage, failed, then putting money in? Let's say, you know, the mortgage is what, you know, it's a debenture. Then, you know, within 5 years in, they can't pay, but they've been paying all this while, and 5 years in, all that money, it's not like they're gonna get it back. You couldn't pay, okay, defaulted, okay, we're gonna seize your house, we're gonna take it from you now. They then put it back on the market. All the money that you put in 5 years is now going to waste. That's always I always think about, man, unless you're somebody you're in a great career that is, we're in AI, literally AI gen now, so things are gonna change dramatically. But unless you're somebody then that was in a, you know, a good career that was solid, that you knew you were gonna, you know, it was always gonna be opportunities for you, even if you pivoted within the same industry but different role, you're always gonna be able to make money. you know, that would have been great. But for many people, man, I remember just getting graduate jobs. Then it started to things were looking shaky even then. You know, where the amount of the graduate, you know, salary, default salary coming out as a graduate person at one point was 30. When we came out, I want to say, again, if you're lucky, 24, 25, you're getting, if that, as a graduate. You know, I remember me thinking 21, I'm like, that's not bad. But then I'm like thinking to myself, people like 21, that's quite, people that graduated maybe 3 years before, like, that's quite low. Because they would, you know, I guarantee at least a 30, like 30 bags. So these are things you got to like take into consideration. Really take into consideration when you're looking at wanting to invest. That's why I didn't want to go too much into the investing part. I wanted to stick on income, spending, and savings. Guys, get this stuff right. Income, make sure you're making money. Don't be ashamed or whatever, or too prideful to make money in ways that are legal and respectfully, by the way. Like, do stuff that, you know, like, again, if you're going to mow lawns or whatever, don't be, you know, ashamed to get physical, like get down and dirty and you know, mow lawns, or, you know, cleaning stuff, whatever you have to do to make money, and then start applying these disciplines of make money and then put it away, stash it away, not spending too much, not spending frivolously. That people just be spending on clothes, it's not smart. So that's essentially, I'll stop there because I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to go into the whole investing thing. It's just another you know, topic, and it's gonna take us down a whole rabbit hole. But I did want to mention that guy mentioned stuff like pension as well. Pensions, like, you know, he would start pensions earlier. I'll just say this about pensions. I used to think banks were, once I learned about banks and how they operate, I used to think banks were the biggest thieves. I mean, it's a business, so it is what it is. But when you know how they move and how they make their money, using me and you, how they make their money, you learn to yourself, oh wow, so they didn't, and they never will they're not going to tell us how they're making money. They're going to just make it through us. When you now think about banks, when you now say, oh, I want, you know, I've got a certain amount in there, I want 5,000, I want to take out 5,000, and they question you, and they may take a certain amount of days, you know, for you to get the money back. Now, when you think about how long it takes you to get your money back when it comes to pensions, I rest my case. Listen, let's just have a quick look at this. I'm not seeing this one here. I don't know how clear this is, guys, but let me see if I can make this bigger so you just have a quick look. Just can I do this? I'm still not that big. Right, I'll read it out anyway, but this is the 50-30-20 rule. Let's just play this to see how this. Are you gonna play? Give it a sec, guys. Is it playing? I think it is. It's just. I think it's playing. All right, cool. I'll read it off anyway. But it says if you have monthly income of $5K, that's a lot. $5,000. Try the 50-30-20 rule. Again, this is for people that are, I can only assume, professionals. I mean, this is someone that's doing very, very well. This is someone that is very quite far along in their career. So it says try the 50-30-20 rule, budget rule. So things you must pay to live and work: rent, mortgage, 30% of your income equals 1,500. Then you got utilities, groceries, insurance, minimum debt payment, car payments, etc. So the needs, which is that big, if you can see, I don't know if you can see it. The big pie is 50%, 2,500 altogether. That's all the needs. Then the wants, which is, so the needs are necessary. You can't really avoid these things. I mean, to me, you can. There's certain stuff you can. When it says, for example, car payment, those that are really into driving and so forth. I mean, if you have kids, fair enough. You don't need to drive. I wouldn't say drive. I think about my personal experience and the amount the time I drive. I think I was driving for 7 years, guys. I was someone that I didn't even need to. My car sometimes was parked for long periods outside, my house, well, my mum and dad's house, living there. So just parked in like in a parking space for like, it's just looking back now, it was a waste, man. It was a waste. Like these type of things we need to, I guess have discussions about and try to let people know this. Again, it's not advice, but people are going to do what they're going to do. But when you think about what you could have done, well, man, I just had it for no reason. Jeez, man. And people wonder where their money went. Where did my money go? Bro, car was an absolute waste, man. Especially in London, where there's just transport links, great. Anyway, the wants, so that's the needs is 50%, 2,500. The wants is 30%, 1,500. Those include things improving your lifestyle, which is dining out. In the cost of living crisis we're living right now, you want to be doing dining out, no problem. Hobbies, the only one I can think of is gym, which is cool, but it's, guys, take everything you're seeing, take this and apply it to our current climate in the UK right now. Apply what you're seeing as this ideal budget, apply it to the current climate in the UK right now, and let me know if it works for you. Travel, no. Entertainment, no. Jewelry, luxury, clothes, no. You're talking from somebody, again, this is all to this, I will say this is depending on the personality of a person. If you're not someone that you don't really care about these things too much, you're happy to wear same coat, same, same, I don't know, shoes, whatever. Maybe you have only 2 pair of shoes, so you got same shoes that you go to work with. Some people, I remember working and one of my colleagues she was like, oh, you guys always wear the same stuff. Like, you don't really. And I'm like, well, first off, you're fairly, young. This stuff looking quite good might matter to you. I used to think like that as well. I used to be like that as well. I don't care about that stuff anymore at all. Like, why would I? It's a waste. So the wants is really personality based. It says there, things improving your lifestyle. That's 1,500. No, man. But again, looking at a person's income, I'm going to assume this person is single as well. That's why anyway. Then it says savings 20%, 1,000. This is someone like me. Yeah, I'll be bumping that savings thing up to probably 2K. That's just how I've always operated. I've gone to holidays with friends. I don't know if I mentioned this. Holidays with friends, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's a £2,000 budget." I'm like, "What?" As in the whole thing, the flights, hotel, whatever, and spending all of it, 2,000, maybe pushing it 2,500. All right, no problem. I would then tell them that, okay, cool. My budget right now is £900. Like, what? But that's hardly covering the flights and the hotel. I'm like, yeah, well, knowing to myself, I'm probably gonna push it more, but I'd like to spend at least less than 1,008 for the whole. I ain't pushing it to 2,005, 3 or 2,000, 2,005. Nah, maximum 1,008. So I really want to push it to like 1,000, 5, 6. Don't get twisted. I'm going to these places and I'm having time of my life because I knew how to just work within a budget. It's just like work within a budget. I just don't. Again, it's almost like a superpower because you realize not everyone is good at these things. So you start having good personal finance is literally like having a superpower in this day and age, because the amount of people that are complaining about the cost of living standard, as they should, but the amount of people that are complaining about it lets you know that it's the majority of people complaining, but there's a minority of people that are not. And the minority of people, that minority is usually rich people, but then there's an even smaller slice of minority that are actually considered poor, like myself. And I'm not complaining as well. Because why? I guess the way that I approach finances, I approach it from a rich person's, you can say, I'm not saying, but a rich person's, I apply it like a rich person, put it that way, right? My spendings, my outgoings are quite low. The stuff I don't need, I wouldn't use. People wonder how people are rich and how do they maintain this? How do they maintain wealth? Because whether you know it or not, you might see them going to places that look expensive, but they're going to places that they can afford. Because to you, what you're seeing as expensive to them is just an average, because there's levels to this. You won't see them at somewhere going to the Ritz, like, or Bima. I don't know if the Ritz is the, anyway. You won't see them going to somewhere where they can only afford once. You won't see them going there twice in a month. No, probably only going to go there for special occasions. So maybe what, 2 times within that year they might. But to you, it's like, man, like they're balling. They're actually quite good. They're actually very smart. Like when it comes to budgeting, right? Budgeting their own PF, they know what they like. This is why they're able to maintain. This is why, and that's how I approach my personal finance stuff. That I know that I don't need to driving. I don't do. I used to have a gym membership. Don't need it. I worked. You know, I worked out a little bit yesterday. Worked out a bit. Well, I'm going to be working out a bit today. Like all these things, just don't. I don't think it's hard. Let me just finish it off. So it says here, 20% savings, which is 1,000, which is emergency fund, retirement, for putting in a retirement account. I see that as what it's talking about, like pension scheme for Americans. Isn't that is it Roth? Is it like an IRA? Is that correct? Right. I think that's what they call them anyway. But yeah, then investing, and then additional debt payments, etc. So it says if you invest, this is the small of it here where my mouse is. Right. It says if you invest with a 10% annual return, it will be 75K in 5 years. And this is 10% annual return every month. So every month, if you're investing every month 1,000, 10% annual return would be 75K within 5 years, 185,000 within 10 years, 500,000 within 20 years, 1.5 mil in 30 years. If you're saving 1,000 every month, guys, so millionaire status isn't even that. Well, if you to be fair, 1,000 right now this is in dollars, but 1,000 pounds. People being able to save that every month, 1,000 pounds. I'm telling you, there are people that, man. So if you were to double that years, instead of making it 30, make it 60 years, and then the savings is £500, you'll be able to make £1.5 mil within that 60 years. Doing this from, they don't say what age, unfortunately, but I guess let's just say doing it from 18. You'll be 78. So to get to 1.5. So yeah, the most important thing is making sure your income, what you're bringing in, and then how much you're saving from that income. This is why it's so important to minimize, right, your spending, minimize your outgoing as much as possible. Guys, personal finance is what's going to set you free. Like, you know, people talk about generational wealth or being able to be financially free. These things come from your personal finances. It is the key to everything. And you now realize as to why the world is set up the way the world is set up, because many people aren't good with this thing. Many people are not good with this superpower. If you are somebody that is good at personal finance, I'm telling you, you are not ordinary. You are part of the I can say extraordinary. Not you are part of the a small amount of people, right? You are part of the minority of people that we can say are above average when it comes to finances. Because all you're doing, you're setting yourself up for an easy life in later life. So this is why it's highly essential that people need to get their personal finance game needs to get in order, guys. Please get it in order. Start disciplining yourself, whatever age you're at, whatever, you know, whatever. There's people gonna have, you know, their own stories or messages. I don't want to say advice, but messages, right, on what they do and how what they do and how this can how this can benefit others if these people do it. Whatever game you can give to people, please do so, because it's just crazy to me how I'm seeing so many people complaining about, you know, how much people are complaining when it comes to the cost of living. It's terrible, and I'm pretty sure the complaints are valid. But we need to be this can't be the case where people are struggling this much and they don't know what to do, or they don't know how to improve the situation. You know, like I said, simple things within your budget. When you look into your budget, you realize what's there. Start removing stuff that just doesn't make sense anymore. Start removing stuff that's luxury. Start removing stuff that is just more of like a hindrance. It's more of like it's like an annoying fly just there, just like, you know, taken away like from your budget although every day doesn't look like it's a big thing, but that little money, a pound something that's taken away it's like an annoying fly. Because by the time the end of the month comes, yo, it's about 30 plus pounds. It's gone to waste. It's gone to waste. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, guys, and hopefully the next one will just I don't know what the next video might be about, but maybe just delving more into, you know, how I really became this disciplined in personal finance, how this is how much impact it's basically had, you know, on my, you know, adult life. Because yeah, I will say that I'm not comfortable yet, but I'm definitely at ease. I don't put it this way, I don't worry as much. And people say this stuff about, oh, I'm going to this shop and this thing is expensive. I don't really, you know, I watch what I spend, but if I really want something, I'll just get it. And I'm getting it. I'm not there now getting it and be like, oh my days, I made a mistake, man. Whereas I'm hearing many people be like, oh, I'm getting this sweet, I'm getting this, you know, item, and it's just not worth it. I can't believe how much it's gone up. Yes, I say the same stuff, but it's not really affecting me. I'll be honest with you. It's not affecting me how it's affecting other people. Is what I'll say. Right, these prices and this you know, inflation is not affecting me as it's affecting other people, and that's because I've had to. It's these things that is as and this is what I was saying to people, that it's very important how only you can affect yourself, right? Only you can really have a major impact on you, or on, you know, you and what you're doing. Really, it's only you, because if you're good at managing your personal finance, the externals wouldn't hit you as hard. It just wouldn't hit you as hard, because you know what you're doing. You know that you're like, you manage well, you budget well. So, the prices have raised, it will impact you, but it's not gonna disturb you to the point where, like, you're now jumping online to really say stuff like, oh, I need. And so, you see some people that are coming online asking other people for money. It's crazy. Like, oh yeah, guys, you can donate because I'm about to get kicked out. I'm like, how are you in this situation? How has it come to this? It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. You know, there's many things that is contributing to where people are at. Many things. But it's like, how are you asking other people when aren't there, like, I'm sure there's benefit schemes out there, in fact, for various, you know, if you're not working, or if you're not, I don't know, if you maybe have a kid, whatever, there's all sorts of benefit schemes that in other countries just is non-existent, but they have it in, you know, the places like UK, US. You have benefit schemes that allows that helps you when you're in certain situations. I don't know. I really don't know, but it all just starts with your personal finance. You have to get it. Whatever. If your internal affairs are on point, external affairs can only affect you so much, because you're already good with what you do. So yes, it's going to have an impact, but it's never going to have you looking crazy out here, is what I'll say. right? It's never going to have you people looking at you sideways like what on earth, you know. You now become a statistic. Well, we're all statistics regardless, but you don't want to become a negative statistic, right? You want to. Everybody wants to think that they're in a, you know, in the section of good statistics, but you have to be an above average type person when it comes to your finances to be in a good, you know, in that good section of in that good statistics cohort. But I'm gonna leave it here, guys, and we shall think about. You let me know what you wanna, what else what you would like me to touch on next time. It might be, you know, actually investing, or, you know, I guess what to do with your money. Maybe go into more about, I guess, banks and so forth, from why I mentioned stuff like maybe pensions, and why I don't really like to use them too much. Banks, I try to not use them as much. Obviously I need a bank, but maybe these type of topics you want me to touch on, just let me know, and hope I would try my best to suggest to report on it. Yeah, but until then, signing out.